Brian McTaggart, who covers the Astros for MLB.com, predicts the Astros to reach the World Series again in his season preview, saying that the Astros have what it takes to reach the World Series, to get back to the World Series, coming off a 95-win season. They remain deep and talented with an offense led by Bregman, Altuve, Yordan, Tucker, Gurriel. Despite losing Lance McCullers to a flexor tendon injury to begin the season, they have Justin Verlander, all of the young pieces. You have Jeremy Pena. Do the Houston Astros have what it takes? Is this roster good enough to get back to the World Series?
I think it is. I think it is. I don't feel like I can definitely and definitively say absolutely it's going. They are going to do that because there is competition in the American League. I think it's a lot like looking at the NFC in the NFL to some degree. I don't think there's a ton of teams that are going to compete with a chance to compete for a World Series and win the American League. But I think of the handful of teams that are going to be there in the playoffs and at the end, I think the Astros are in a pack of teams that are capable of winning the American League, getting to the American League Championship Series, representing the American League in a World Series, and maybe winning it all. That's why I'm so adamant about spending this $33 million and spending it the right way so that maybe they get a leg up on the Yankees. And
what is the right way, do you think?
I don't think that there's one set formula, but I don't think that the one way is just looking for the one replacement, like the Trevor Story to replace a Carlos Correa type. And I use that for an example just because we've had so many discussions about it. But because you lost Correa, you don't have to replace him and his money and his bat with a shortstop. If you need another bat, if you need a corner outfielder, or you think that Jake's going to be out in center field longer than originally expected, and you know there's a center fielder that you can possibly get that you can plug in. The bullpen, as we just got done talking about. We know that Stanek has been up and down for as much as Presley's the guy you can normally rely on. Can you get another reliever or two? And is one of them left-handed? Not only for situational spots, but because he can get both guys out, righties and lefties, and has good stuff. Those are the kind of additions that I will feel better about because it's something they don't have currently that could make them a better team than they are now.
The secondary thought with that is that the Astros don't have a great farm system. Mm-hmm. So being able to put a package together that's, can attract one of those players that you refer to is going to be difficult. That's why I look at it as almost like a salary dump is what you need. Like you almost have to absorb a $20 million contract this year and next year from a low market team that the reason that they're trading that player isn't because they want the prospects in return. It's because they want to shed the salary, a la Detroit when they traded Justin Verlander to the Astros.
Or you got a guy in the last year of his deal, so you don't have to give up as much to get him because you don't know if you're going to be able to re-sign him either. So the team giving him up understands going in, I'm not going to get a boatload of talent for this guy. I know at least I'm going to get something for him so he doesn't just walk out the door scot-free and we, say our goodbyes and have nothing to show for it. So I think you're right. One of those two scenarios is definitely a possibility. I think that you've read some of the articles in the last couple of days about how kind of almost mistakenly you can walk into a deal like the Zach Greinke deal and the way Crane walked into it with the Diamondbacks. You just don't know what's going to present itself. I just don't want them to sit and stand pat all season long and through the trade deadline and think, we'll just roll with what we got.
Hey guys, back to the video in just 1 minute. Before that, I want to tell you about Fitz Roofing. Fitz Roofing is dedicated to the loyal people of Houston, Texas. That means if you got a leaky roof or need a full roof replacement on your business or your home, or you want to get something done around the yard or maybe something around the house, Fitz Roofing can help. All you got to do is check out all their services at fitzroofing.com, and better yet, call them 832-521-3001. They'll come to you and do a free, no-obligation inspection that costs you absolutely nothing and tells you absolutely every way that they can help you fix your problems. Check them out and make sure you go to Fitz Roofing because they have the best warranties in the business, the best ratings, and the best service. They're going to take care of you every step of the way. Fitz Roofing, making a difference one home at a time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I believe that the roster they currently have is good enough to get to a World Series. I also believe the playoffs are a crapshoot. They're even more of a crapshoot now with the expanded playoffs than they have ever been before. They have a roster that I fully expect to run away with the AL West. I really don't think they'll be challenged in the AL West, to be perfectly honest with you. They'll be a team that's in the playoffs that will have a chance to get to the World Series. Once they get there, you never know. And you need some breaks along the way. Like if Lance McCullers never comes back and Justin Verlander blows out his elbow again in June, goodbye season.
Jeez.
Good game. Nice knowing you.
Nice bringing that up.
I mean,
start the season.
Everything's
look,
within the
the
realm of
McCullers thing
possibilities,
does bother me,
the picture.
as you know, and it worries me because of the fact that if this was anything that was somewhat substantial or significant, they should have taken care of this before the season even ended last year, so he had every chance of being available for this full season. But I also know that James Click made an appearance on the Sean Salisbury show this morning, And he basically said Lance is feeling good, looking good. He's going to start to throw here in the next couple of days, and at a certain point, he's going to start getting into the routine of ramping it up, but that might take quite a while because it's like he's just starting spring training, to the point you and I made of trying to pinpoint when he might be back, and I had said June 1st if it was going to be back, but then I bumped that back to, once we heard that he hadn't been throwing yet, to July. So I think that's pretty realistic that they're not worried, and he even said so. They're not worried about the start of the season and being part of this rotation for the full year. They're worried about October baseball, kind of like to your point of the fact that they're probably going to win the division and they probably are going to win it running away. And if that's the case, they don't have to be in a big hurry. But when you get into that crapshoot of the playoffs, you have got to have two really big horses at the front of your rotation that could do a lot of damage, because you don't go deep and go 5-6 deep starting pitcher-wise, but you're going to use a lot of pitchers. And it's a big advantage when you got two go-to guys at the front of your rotation.
He got to the World Series last year without one.
But he got him there through the first round. He got him through the White Sox series, and he did a lot of dirty work to get him through that point. And then, you're right, after that, they were able to kind of piecemeal it together just to get through. And there was always that outside hope. Will he come back? Will he come back? But I think when you see the teams that actually were capable of winning it, that actually won it, you see the pitching performances the Braves got. You see what the Dodgers have at the front of their rotation. Even last year when Bauer leaves, but they bring in Max Scherzer and they got Walker Buehler and they've got some big-time starters. That's what you need to really be a favored dominant force in the playoffs and make it less of a crapshoot. That's what I'm talking about. Kind of make it less of a crapshoot and more of a, if you play your cards right, do what you're supposed to do, you should be there. There are moves to be made out there that could get them to that point.